Welcome. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok
So,
b'divrei Torah.
Amen. Amen.
Thank you. Let's get all the ones that we need here. Okay. I'm hoping I have everything I need. Okay, here goes. All right. So right now we're going to go to this in a moment, but let me find the place I need. All right, here we are. So here we are at Torah Tumim. I'm trusting that you're seeing what I'm seeing on my screen. You're seeing a text, correct?
Yes, yes.
Correct.
Excellent, excellent. Okay. So going on. So we were dealing with the coverings, the curtains, the one curtain that separated between the holy part, the sanctuary, and the Holy of Holies. So here we go. There's another covering as well. For asita masach, you shall make a covering, the fetach ha'ol, for the opening of the tent. Tchelet, that's blue, argaman, purple, vetolat, shani, and red linen, I believe. Sorry, I think shani is actually tolat means a worm, so I suspect that it's red silk. Shani, I believe, is the red. Veshesh mushzar, that would be twisted linen. Shesh would be linen. Maaser cave, the work of a embroiderer. And here we go. Rashi looks at this very carefully. Vasita masach, right? So this word masach, vilon, it's a curtain. Shehu masach, which is a covering, protection, right? A screen. Keneged hapetach, which is at the opening. Kamo, and he says, so here's the masach, right? The word masach, he says, it's from the same root as sachta ba'odo. You have screened and protected him. Lashon magin, it has the connotation of protection. Maaser okay, the work of an embroiderer. So the point that you'll see that Rashi is going to make, Hatsurut asuyut bo, the shapes that are done on this curtain, Maaseh machat, they're done with a needle. Kepartzuf shel aver zeh, kach partzuf shel aver zeh. Like the image, the face on one side is exactly the same as the face on the other side. Rokem. So here he's analyzing this word rokem, and he says shem ha'uman. So in the word rokem, it's the name of its that describes the craftsman. A rokem is the craftsman. Velo shem ha'omanut. It's not the name of the craft. V'targumo oved tzayar. So he shows how Onkelos supports this understanding. Actually, the noun for embroidery is rikma, but whether rikma is a more modern word, I'm not sure. But anyway, he says the Targum says one who works in embroidery. Velo oved tziur, and it's not a workman of the tziur, that would be the embroidery, right? One who does embroidery. So the word rokem is a tzayar, the one who embroiders. Midat hamasach kemidat haparochet. So the dimensions of the curtain were exactly the same as the dimensions of the covering in front of the Holy of Holies. Eser amot al eser amot. It's 10 cubits by 10 cubits. And now I'd like to show you what we're talking about. I'll see what I can do here. Okay, here, let's try this. Yes. It's right here. It's this covering right here. Let me see if I have another picture of it. Nope, that's it. That's all I have there. Let me see. I don't know that I have anything. Oh, there we are. Here we are. I went too fast. This is what we're talking about. This covering right here. Okay. So let me go back and into the text. Okay. And this next verse, Va'asita la masach, and for this covering, right? This cover, Chamisha Amudei Shitim. You shall make 5 columns of acacia wood, V'tzipita Otam Zahav. You shall overlay them with gold, Vavehem Zahav. Their hooks shall be of gold, V'yatzakta Lahem, and you should form for them Chamisha Adnei Choshech, 5 sockets of brass. Yitzika, I believe, has to do with the process of molding these brass, of melting the brass and making the shapes that you want. And I don't necessarily have this in color, but I'll see if I can. Let's take a look. I think I have it right here. There we are. Here are the five, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you can see how it fits onto the boards. These are the boards here, and these go right on top. And of course, and here are the hooks, right? The hooks that were of gold on which you hung the curtain. Let me go back into here. Let's see what else I have. Okay, I think I'm going to go to here. Yes. All right. Next. So, V'asita et hamizbeach, and you shall make the altar atzei shitim. It should be made out of acacia wood. Chamesh amot orech v'chamesh amot rochav. It should be 5 cubits wide by 5 cubits broad. Okay, the length and the breadth are the same, 5. So in other words, it would be 7.5 feet, right? Ravua yiham mizbeach. The altar should be 4 square, from the word reva, arba, meaning 4, right? So it's square. Veshalosh amot, and it should be 3 cubits komato. Its height should be 3 cubits. Let's take a look and see what Rashi we have. Okay. Va'asita at hamizbeach, you shall make the altar, etc. Veshalosh amot komato. Its height should be 3 cubits. So 3 cubits would be 4.5 feet. Okay, but it was actually higher than that. But let's see what Rashi has to tell us. Sh, sh, let's see. Nope, went too far. Went too far. Okay. Went way too far. So okay. There we go. So I'll carefully scroll to the next part. Dvarim kichtavan. Okay, that is, we should understand it just the way it's written. Divrei Rabbi Yehuda. That's according to Rabbi Yehuda. So there's a disagreement on the part of the rabbis as to understanding. So it sounds like Rabbi Yehuda understands the altar to be, let's see, that would make it 4.5 feet high. Rabbi Yossi Omer. Rabbi Yossi, however, says, Ne'emar kan ravua. It says here that it should be 4 square. V'ne'emar bipnimi ravua. And according to the gold altar, the altar that was inside the sanctuary, that it should also be ravua. It uses this term ravua. Ma lahalan govho pishnaim. So just as in the case of the golden altar, its height was double double its length. Okay, afkan govho pishnaim ko. So here too, we should understand this ravua to mean that it was double its width and its breadth. Ma ani mekayem. So shalosh amot komator. So why does it say here 3 cubits its height? Remember, it said that it was 5 cubits by 5 cubits, and that meant it would have to be 10 cubits high. So why is it saying 3 cubits here? What's that helpful? If we are saying that we're using this term ravua to mean that in fact it was 10 cubits high and then 5 by 5, right? So why does it say 3 here? Misfat sovev ulamala. It's saying that there was actually a parapet, and I'll try and show you a picture of it, right? And according to Rabbi Yossi, right, there was 3 cubits. So the from the bottom of the altar up to the parapet would be 7 cubits, and then another 3 cubits for the altar itself. So let me see what I can do in terms of showing you. Here we are. Let's take a look. Here's a picture of it. So this actually was the courtyard altar, right? And so we're talking about that from here. Here's the parapet that we're talking about. Okay. And here's the altar itself where they would actually make the sacrifices. So this, I believe the height from here to here would be 10 cubits. And this, by the way, you see this line here? Let's make sure I have it right. There was, remember, Chut HaSikra, right? This red line that divided the blood that went above from the blood below. So it looks like it was like maybe 1 cubit below. All right. So this is a ramp that they used. Let me see if I have another picture for you. Okay, here it is. This is another picture of it. This is the one based on the one from Moshe Levine. Okay. That's what we have here. Let me see what else I might have for you. I think that is it. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's go back into Torah Mima. Okay. So, va'asita karnotav al arba pinotav. You shall make its horns on its four corners. Mimenu tiyena karnotav. Its horns should be made of the material you make the altar. But pita. So in other words, this would have the underlay of acacia wood and the overlay of bronze. But pita atonachoshet, and you shall overlay it with brass. Just a quick. Let's see if I can get you that picture. Right. So these are the horns that we're talking about here. Okay, and just another picture of it there. Okay, just to give you a sense of it. So I guess the priest would actually stand here, okay? It looks like it, right? Unless the ramp, there was a ramp that went up to it, and I know I had okay, here's the ramp. So I guess the ramp actually went the whole way up, and then he would do the offering there. I think I do have another picture of it in another place. Let me see where I have that. I don't know if it's here. Let me look and see quickly. So that's yeah, no, I guess I don't. This is strictly the ark itself and the ark cover. All right, let me go somewhere else and see if it's here. We've got the boards there. And these are simply the curtains. So no, that's something else. Okay, this is what I'm going to show you from that right there. But I know I did have a picture of the altar itself. Okay. All right, let me just keep going. Okay. Here we go. Let's see if Rashi's got anything here. Here we go. Miminu tiena karnotav. It's the horns should be made from the same material. Shelo ya'asem levadam. So the point about it is that they should not be made separately by themselves, vayech barembo, and then attach them to it. V'tzipito oto nechoshet. You shall overlay it with brass. So it looks like lechaper al azut metzach. So the brass is symbolic. Remember, I mentioned to you that everything had a symbolism to it, and here the brass was essentially azut metzach is, I think, arrogance and stubbornness, those kinds of qualities. The brass. Shneemar, it says here, umetzach ka or mitzacha nechoshet, and your brow is of brass. And in Isaiah chapter 48, he's describing the stubbornness of the Jewish people. Remember, I have this saying that there's this mantra that we sort of have, which is, ain't no one going to tell me what to do, and trying to overcome that sense of stubbornness. So, going on, a little bit more. Va'asita sirotav ledashno. So these, I believe, sirot would be like pans. Ledashno to clean it. Ledashen would be like to remove the ashes. V'ya'av uzmizrakotav. These are like forks and things to put into the meat, right? Mizlegotav. A mazleg is in fact a fork. But these, I believe, are various types of implements in which to transport the meat, right? Umachtotav. These, I believe, a machteh is like a fire pan, something like that. L'chol kelav taseh nechoshet. And all its instruments, all its vessels shall be made out of brass. Okay. So here we go. Sirotav. Rashi's trying to help us understand these various things, right? And I believe, I'll have to look this up. Kamin yorot, whether it's a kind of a pan, I'd have to double check. Le dashno, to cleanse it. Lahasir dashno, in other words, to remove its ashes. Le tocham, into them. Vahu shetirgem umpulus, and this is what Onkelos translated as the mispek ketamia. A ketem, I believe, would be the ashes, right? To collect the ashes, lispot hadeshin letocham, right? To remove the ashes or the remains into them. Kiyesh milot belashon ivrit. He says there are words in Hebrew, milah achat, right, where one word mitchalefet bititron, that one word sometimes you have to it exchanges in explaining it and translating it. L'shamesh, let's look. Binyan ustira. So it also this word also talks about creating and removing. Kamor, and he gives an example. Vatisharesh sharasheha. Right. So the word shorish means root, and tisharesh, right, can also mean, it can mean to root its root, and it can also mean root in the sense of rooting out. So in English, we also have similar words, which one word can mean both its positive and negative qualities. So evil would be a fool, mashrish. So again, there's this word mashrish, and I would think that it means that a fool basically uproots the chilufo, right? However, he's giving now an example here. So teshareh sharasheha must mean remove its roots, in other words, uproot it. And now he gives the example of this using the same word in its opposite sense, right? Uvechol tevuati tisharesh, something to the effect of, and you shall root all my produce. Ukamohu, and likewise in Isaiah 17, Besi'ifer Poreha. So this is interesting. Uh, hmm. Okay, so I'm looking here where he's talking about Se'ifer Poria. I will have to look this up. Okay, but he has the same kind of idea. So next time I will try and explain what these particular words mean. So I'm going to put the marking here, right there, and we'll go over it one more time. Okay. So I'm going to stop the share here. And any comments, any thoughts about this at this point? Just all these details. All right.